Hi, Mr. Bodell here, Bodell's Comfort Footwear. I thought I'd take a few minutes of our time to explain to you about the care of your shoes, and we're going to start from the top. So the thing is, you're going to have to realize is that the right cream that you use on a nice fine leather shoe, it should be an oil-based cream. We carry the TRG, that's made in Spain. It's a family-owned business. The cream is impeccable. Okay, it has an oil base. Why you want an oil base is because leathers have pores, and the leathers need to have the oil restored back to the pores in order for your for your leather in your shoes to give a nice shine. Alright, so you always want to start out with a great shoe cream, and I believe TRG is excellent. Now, the first thing you do before you even shine a shoe is you clean it off. Alright? You wipe it down, make sure there's no dust or dirt on it, and then you use your polish. With the polish, you want to use a dauber. Dauber with a horsehair brush on the end. Horsehair gets in the pores, restores the oil back in the pores. It's the best hair that's used anytime you use polish. Your professional shoe shine people, we're going to use horsehair brushes. So this is your dauber. Take your dauber, you put it in the cream, and then you want to do a circular motion on the upper. Okay, once it's covered, you put that down and use the appropriate horsehair brush. These professional brushes are what you want. The reason why is, again, it's 100% natural horsehair. It's going to further get that polish, or the cream, or the oil, I should say, back into the pores of the leather so you can bring out that nice shine. And when you polish a shoe, you want to use strokes like this. Okay, you don't want to do short strokes, you want to do large strokes. So you take your shoe and you want to polish it, okay? That is the way you do it. Alright, horsehair brush for your shine. Dauber to use to put apply the polish on the uppers, and you want to use a cream polish. Not a paste or a wax, and certainly not a liquid. Liquid has a water base. It's going to dry the leather out, and that's where you get the cracks. Wax and paste basically essentially do the same thing. Eventually, the more wax you put on it, or the more paste you put on it, you're actually polishing the paste or the wax. What that does, it dries the leather out. You don't want that, because when it dries the leather out, the leather cracks. Okay. Now the next thing I want to talk to you about is shoe oil. This is Hubbard. If you don't want to polish the shoe, but you want to restore the oil back in the shoe, you want to use an oil that restores in the pores the luster and restoring the oil to the shoes. This will do it. Use a soft rag. Apply the oil onto the rag, and you use a circular motion on the upper. After that's done, you take the appropriate color brush and you buff it. Alright, it'll restore the luster back in the shoe. Now, let's say you want to clean the shoe. In fact, I recommend this before you even polish a shoe. This is saddle soap. Alright, you want to use a rag that has a little bit of wetness to it, just a little, just damp, a damp rag. You want to put the saddle soap on the rag, and again a circular motion on the shoe. Let it dry for a second. You'll start seeing a little bit of a powdery substance on it, and you want to take your appropriate brush and brush off that powdery substance. After you do this, then you apply the cream polish on it with the dauber, and then you shine with the brush. Okay, let's say if you want to waterproof a shoe. Yes, you can use a rain and stain protectant spray, whether it's a Scotch Guard or any other applicant on to protect the leather from the weather. Or you can use a mink oil. Mink oil is a natural material, a natural oil. What this does is that it restores the oil back in the shoe. It won't dry the shoe out, whereas your rain and stain protectants in the spray, whether it's Scotch Guard or another brand, has a tendency to dry the leather out, and that's where you get the cracks in the shoe. What this does is that it restores the oil back in the shoe. However, it protects the shoe from the weather. Now, after you put this on with a soft rag, it doesn't have to be a damp one. You just use a circular motion on the upper, all right, and then you just use your brush. What you're doing, you're brushing it in the pores, protecting the leather from the weather, whether it's rain or snow. All right, mink oil, saddle soap, cream polish, using your daubers here, and then using and finishing it off with your professional shine brush. Okay, now we're going to talk about Suede and Nubuck. Now, I think in one of my other videos I discussed the difference between Suede and Nubuck. And Suedes are a thicker nap. So you're going to have to use a firmer brass brush in order to get into the suede and get the dirt out of it. So you want to use this for your suedes. It's a thicker nap, so you get in there and you just give it a good brush and get most of the dirt out and some of also any kind of dust and things like that out of the suede. Now, if it's a Nubuck, which is a shorter nap, you want to use a nylon brush. A nylon brush, because it's not as thick, the Nubuck is not as thick in the nap of the upper. The nylon brush will get the most of the dirt and the dust out of the upper without destroying the appearance of the Nubuck. If you used a brass brush on Nubuck, you're going to see streaks of the brush going through it. So you're basically tearing out the pieces of the Nubuck. So you don't want to use this one. You want to use a nylon brush. So that's essentially a little brief introduction as far as how to do an upkeep on your shoes and the various sequence of polishing and care on your leathers and your suedes and Nubucks. And I hope this is beneficial to you, and I hope to see you down here in our store. Mr. Bodell, Bodell's Comfort Footwear.